Hi, my name is Jessica Zimmerly, and I'm the Program and Outreach Director at Earth Ministry and Washington Interfaith Power and Light, one of the organizations that helped bring this film, The Devil We Know, to you tonight. Earth Ministry is a statewide nonprofit that works specifically with faith communities on environmental stewardship and justice. One of the campaigns we work on is around environmental health, because we believe that everyone deserves clean water, healthy products, and safe homes. Now, you all saw the film about PFAS chemicals. We can agree that they're pretty bad. The good news is that Washington State is a leader in addressing this chemical as a class, which is really groundbreaking. Our role as people of faith is to bring a moral framework to the conversation around toxic chemicals, to remind decision makers that what they're working on has real impacts on people, especially the most vulnerable, being our kids and our elders. Tonight, we're going to explore more about PFAS chemicals and how you can help raise up your voice in support of clean water and healthy products in our homes. We'll be hearing from partners from Toxic Free Future, talking about what's happening here in Washington State, and then ways that you can get involved and take action right now.
Hi, I'm Karina Wells, and I'm the Campaign and Communications Manager at Toxic Free Future. Toxic Free Future is a nonprofit that works to protect people and the environment from toxic chemicals. A lot of our work is focused around advocacy, like passing stronger laws and policies. And most of our work is focused here in the state of Washington. So like Jessica alluded to, Washington State has been a leader in tackling this class of chemicals known as PFAS. The Devil We Know talks about how PFAS chemicals came to be, how DuPont started using them, and the manufacturing of Teflon pans. But really, that was just the beginning. PFAS chemicals are used in a whole slew of products today, everything from carpeting to stain protectant treatments to outdoor gear and firefighting foam. In fact, this latter example, firefighting foam, has been the main source of drinking water contamination in our state. We've seen drinking water contamination from PFAS chemicals in Whidbey Island, near the Naval Base, in Issaquah, and in Airway Heights outside Spokane near Fairchild Air Force Base. And the reason for this contamination has been because of the use of firefighting foam containing PFAS chemicals. These chemicals are so mobile and persistent that when used in firefighting foam, they seep through the soil and get into the drinking water. Some residents in these communities were drinking contaminated water for years before they were notified that the water was toxic, and suffered many health effects as a result. So that's why Toxic Free Future and a coalition of other nonprofits in the state of Washington worked to pass a first-in-nation law last year restricting the sale of firefighting foam containing PFAS chemicals within the state of Washington. So this was a really, really huge win and will go a really long way in protecting drinking water from these chemicals. We also passed a law that bans the use of PFAS chemicals in food packaging, another use of PFAS chemicals because of their nonstick properties. And then earlier this year, we had an especially huge win with the passage of a law called the Safer Products for Washington Act. And what this law does is it gives our state agencies, the Departments of Ecology and Health, the authority to identify products that contain harmful chemicals and to better regulate what sorts of chemicals go into those products. So one of the classes of chemicals that this law addresses is PFAS. And the Department of Ecology will be looking at product categories that contain high levels of PFAS that can be a danger to any one of us in our homes, schools, or workplaces. So we're calling on our state agencies to take strong actions on PFAS on some of the biggest sources of these chemicals to our homes, like carpets and carpeting treatments. So Washington State really is a leader in addressing these chemicals. We also wanted to avoid the phenomenon of chemical whack-a-mole substitution, which is what chemists call the process by which manufacturers phase out one problematic chemical and just replace it with a really similar but also problematic chemical. So in The Devil We Know, we saw that when C8 was just replaced with Gen X. So that's why in Washington State, with these 3 laws around PFAS that we've passed the last few years, we're addressing PFAS as a class of chemicals. So all chemicals within the PFAS class fall under these laws. So no PFAS chemicals can be used in food packaging. And that's really important because there are thousands of PFAS chemicals on the market. So addressing them as a class is a really groundbreaking way that we are leading the nation in tackling these chemicals. So another thing that we've got going on in the state is that the state is working on implementing drinking water standards around these chemicals to make sure that people do not have unsafe levels of these chemicals in their water. The State Board of Health is currently finalizing these standards, and there will be an opportunity for public comments in public hearings around the drinking water standards, and those are due to happen in the next little while here, and we will be sure to keep people updated about when that will happen. So Toxic Free Future is continuing to partner with Earth Ministry in delivering actions around PFAS chemicals here in our state. So stay tuned for more.
Hi everyone, my name is Maddie Smith, and I also work at Earth Ministry with Jessica Zimmerly, and have been working with Karina, who you just heard from, to put on these screenings of The Devil We Know in Washington State congregations. And after watching such a heavy film as The Devil We Know, we find it's really important to follow up with information about what's going on in our communities, and also, more importantly, what we can do. I'd like to draw your attention now to this postcard that is being passed out right now by the event organizers. And this postcard is addressed to the Washington State Departments of Ecology and Health, who are jointly together working on developing a chemical action plan for PFAS chemicals, which deals with the implementation of the Pollution Prevention for Our Future Act, which is now known as the Safer Products for Washington Act, which looks at PFAS chemicals as a class in products that are in our everyday lives. And what's really important to us is that you don't need to be a scientist to fill out this postcard. We really see this as a moral issue that all people, especially people of faith, are called to comment on and make your voices heard on. And there's a specific section in this postcard, let me hold it up, that talks about what you're concerned about specifically. And we really want people to write what you're concerned about after watching this film and after hearing about what's going on in our communities in Washington State. We've been collecting these postcards from congregations across the state, including in affected areas on Whidbey Island, and from people that are dealing with this in their everyday lives. And here's a stack of all the postcards we've collected thus far. The stack usually lives on my desk, and I would really love to see your postcard on my desk as well as part of this stack. We're going to be delivering them to the Departments of Health and Ecology in one big group to show that people of faith are paying attention to this maybe obscure chemical action plan, and that we care about what's happening in our drinking water and in our communities. And while we're glad that Washington State is leading on this issue, we also need to make sure that it gets implemented, and your public comment is what makes that possible. So please fill out this postcard right now at the event and hand it to the event organizers, who will be sending them to us so that I can add them to the stack on my desk.
Thank you for taking the time to watch The Devil We Know and learn with us about PFAS chemicals and what's happening here in Washington. Stay tuned to hear from Earth Ministry and Toxic Free Future about more ways to get involved. For now, be sure to fill out your postcard before you go home and leave it with your organizer. Thank you!